Hi, my name is Doug Lambert, and I'm going to tell you a personal story. This is a story about something that happened to me many years ago that has affected the way I am today. So it's a very powerful story. It's interesting this because everyone has a story to tell, something that happened somewhere in their lives that's affected the way they are today. The tragedy is that many people don't reflect on these stories and don't share them, don't tell them. In my case, I've told this story a few times, but I've never recorded it like this on video. So, when did this story happen? It was when I was 12 years old, was when it started. And at the time, we were farming in Zambia, Northern Rhodesia it was at the time. And I was at boarding school, and I had an appendix operation which went wrong, that something was left inside my stomach in the operation. Then I had 2 big abscess operations, and all my stomach muscles were cut away. And I was thinking about, I'm nearly ready to go to high school and I want to be strong and ready for sport. So I started running every day. And I had average athletic capability, just average. But from my daily running, I started to get really fit. And then we moved from Zambia to Zimbabwe, Southern Rhodesia. I went to a new high school, it was called Kwekwe High School, in a little mining town. And I was young for my year. I was about 12, going on 30. Everyone else in my class was a year older. But I'd been running all the time since we left our farm in Zambia, and I was really fit. In the middle of our first year, we had the annual athletics meeting, and I was there watching the open mile. I was absolutely ecstatic about this because I was fit. And then I asked the housemaster, I want to run in this race next year. And he said, no, you can't run until you're in year 3 of your schooling. So I carried on running every day, and before I knew it, I was in year 3. And I ran in the open mile, aged 15, running against boys that were 19 years old, and some of them much more athletically talented than myself. And I won the mile easily. So this was my moment of realization that if you apply that extra bit of effort for something that you really want, you'll get what you want. So this made me think, how can I use this further? I started to apply it in my academic work at school. So I was in an A stream, so I was above average in terms of academic capability, but I was only coming 10th or 12th, something like that in my class. Several other students ahead of me. So I started to do a bit more homework and apply myself and prepare, and I then started to come first in almost all topics, all subjects. And then I thought, well, I can apply this further while I was at school. And I became rugby captain, sports captain, head of school. So I got these extra responsibilities which developed me because I applied a little bit of extra effort. And then I continued this in the rest of my life when I did my accountancy degree, when I did my MBA. As I climbed the career ladder, I applied extra effort, and I excelled in what I put this extra effort into. So, as you listen to the story, you might be wondering what's behind it. What's behind it for me was, I became unstoppable. And I don't want to sound like a braggart in saying that, but I realized that if I really wanted something and I put the effort in, I would get it. I'd be unstoppable. So for anyone listening to my story, what does this mean for you? How could you apply this? If this interests you, and you can apply this story to anything. If you want to learn a new language, you want to get good at a sport, you want to do well academically, you want to do well in your work, if you apply the following approach, I guarantee you, you will do well. So what do? What's the secret here? The secret revolves around 4 Ds. Remember them? D for Doug, 4 Ds. And the first D is desire. You've got to really want this badly. If this is not important for you, if you're not really motivated to get it, you won't do enough to get it. So desire is absolutely essential. The next thing is direction. You have to have a clear direction of steps, action steps that you're going to take on a regular basis that will enable you to achieve what you want. You need a roadmap, and you need allocated times of when you're going to do these things on a regular basis. That's the second D. The third D is discipline. You've got to be really disciplined to keep this going. So often people start out and they do things and it lasts for a few weeks, even a few months. You've got to push through right until the end. So discipline is critical. So how can we be disciplined? It's not always easy to keep going, especially when the going is tough and you've got other things happening. One good way is to hold yourself accountable every day. At the end of the day, reflect and say, how did I do today? Did I give it my best shot? You can also get someone else to hold you accountable, your spouse or a friend or a work colleague, and ask them to ask you, did you do this today? And the fourth D is distraction removal. There's so many things that can get in the way and stop us from doing what we need to do to achieve this goal that we want. So we need to remove distraction. Make sure when we're working on this that we've got the phone out of the way, we've closed the door, there's no one that can interrupt us. And allocate a time that's absolutely, nothing will stop you from using this time. So sometimes you've got to do it early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning or late at night, where you won't be distracted. So if you have strong desire and you've got clear direction, specific actions you're going to take, and you're really disciplined and you remove distraction, I can promise you, you'll achieve what you want. So, the secret of everything that I've spoken about now, what is it? It's just to be aware for anyone out there who's listening to my story that each and every one of you has a story to tell. Something that happened to you at some stage which has affected the way you are now. And it's very powerful to reflect on this and to talk about it and be conscious of it and how it affects you. Thank you.